Hi, this is your host, Christopher Turner. You're now tuned in to the Go Play Esports Podcast Season 3, powered by Control. You already know I've been with Control for the last 3 seasons, man. We're going to get into a commercial by drinkcontrol.com so you can actually know what Control is, and then we'll be back to introduce our guests.
90% of people love statistics. We don't have any data to support that, so you'll just have to take our word for it. Control contains prebiotic fiber, the stuff that promotes healthy gut bacteria. Unlike unhealthy gut bacteria, it's healthy. It also contains digestive enzymes. They promote healthy digestion. You're probably starting to recognize a trend here. You know what else are healthy? Branched-chain amino acids. They support muscle growth and amp up your exercise performance. And MCTs help to control your appetite. 5 grams of fiber, 23 grams of protein, 22 vitamins and minerals, plus it's made with real pieces of cereal. Control. Statistically awesome.
All right, go to Drink Control, that's CTRL.com. Trust me, I use it every day. I actually just downed the meal replacement for breakfast. It's great. My favorite flavor is the cinnamon toast. Trust me, you got bits of cinnamon toast in there. You got like the Fruit Loop flavor. You got all kind of flavors, all kind of shaker cups. Use code GOPLAY ES. That's GEAUX play ES for a discount. Man, this guest right here, he's a brother. We talk all the time, and probably this podcast is probably gonna be laxed more than any other podcast that I've ever done. Just because we break bread, if not weekly, daily, or every other day, multiple times a week. Just proud of this brother, just proud of what he's accomplished. He's gonna get into who he is and what he's done. If you saw the promo, I'm actually talking about Trey Thomas of the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm gonna go ahead and add Trey in right now, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother Chris? Man, it's good to see you, and I'm happy to be here and spend some time with you on an actual podcast setting.
For sure. But yeah, man. We're here to celebrate you, man, what you accomplished, man. My overall goal with the podcast when I first started it was, man, let me create something where I can go into these business offices and try to get support from my community and show them, hey, this is what the landscape is, and I'll be doing, my community and your community a disservice if we just focus on what's behind the sticks or behind the keyboard. So I really want to bring you on to showcase other opportunities within the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess I can kind of start this thing off by sharing some information about how I even got to this point. So I'm born and raised here, Fort Worth, Texas. Went to the Duncanville High School where I graduated. There I also competed in football, basketball, but track and field was my primary focus, and it was my ticket to college. So I ended up taking a scholarship to Northwood University. There I got to compete as a 400-meter sprinter, an 800-meter mid-distance runner, also ran on relays. And so I kind of had that opportunity to still push that competitive mantra of my life, but I went to a business college. So during that time, I was also focused on things like international business and advertising marketing. I was also focused on strategic business management because I always saw that there was something inside of me that felt that I could take that and put it into the world and try to do some good with those skills. So that's ultimately what I ended up going to pursue as a degree. So I ended up getting my degree in business management, graduating and starting off as an intern with Legends Hospitality at AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys. So, when I first got into this industry, sales wasn't really the ideal role that I wanted to jump in, but it was an opportunity that, in professional sports in this world, that sales is going to always be the best way to get your foot into that door, because it helps you kind of get to the bare bones of the business. So for me, that's how I looked at it. So I took the opportunity as an intern to start learning how to sell special events, which, you know, in that world, you're talking about creating experiences for, you know, nonprofits, for corporate companies, for schools, anybody looking to utilize that space to have a memorable experience. You know, my goal was to get them on the phone and to talk to them about why they should, or why they, you know, what can we do to continue to be of services to them. So ultimately, that's where I started, and I had a lot of, you know, early success during that internship experience. Met a lot of great people and built a lot of great relationships. And I think that has been the mantra as I continue to share my journey throughout this entire process. Is I've always made sure to make meaningful relationships and get to know everyone, no matter what positions or what fields they worked in, because everybody's roles are important to create the bigger picture. So for me, it was always my business to know, in a sense, everybody's business. So I did that as an intern, had a lot of success, but had you know, trials and tribulations. There wasn't a job waiting for me at the end of the internship. So I ended up doing a video resume, which one of my good buddies, Aaron Throneberry, he helped me out with. And so this video resume went viral, and I was able to actually get a lot of positive interviews from a lot of great teams throughout the professional sports world. And ultimately, I ended up taking my first job with the San Francisco 49ers to do a sales consultant of stadium experiences role. And so for me, I was already doing special event sales as an intern, so I felt it made the most sense to continue to stay on that trajectory, because I didn't want my job to be predicated on wins and losses. I would rather my job be based on, can I actually offer something that will still give them a positive experience regardless of what's happening around us. So ultimately, the job for the 49ers made the most sense for me personally and professionally. And so I took that role. I jumped right in, and again, met a lot of great people, made a lot of solid relationships and connections. And that was my first taste of Silicon Valley. So during that time, you know, you have to think within that, you know, the Silicon Valley region, you have a lot of major tech powerhouses and headquarters all around. So for me, that was like interesting to me. I was like, yo, I don't know much about any of this stuff, about tech startups, about anything, but I'm willing to learn and get in it. So that's what I did. And, you know, that was an opportunity presented itself again for me to come back to Texas. So, you know, I did my stint with the 49ers and came back to Texas to work for the Legends Hospitality again. But I came back with a different mindset, because I saw a different side of the world that I had never seen before. So ultimately, it kind of gave me a new experience, and it just gave me opportunities to continue to step into things that I thought were new. And then from that point, I ended up, you know, coming back to the Cowboys, doing some work there. And there were a lot of changes that were happening. And so, you know, fortunately for me, you know, it was kind of opening up new windows of opportunities for other positions, other jobs, other locations. And so that was when the Dallas Mavericks popped up. And so when the Mavericks popped up, it was like, you know, okay, going from the NFL to the NBA may be a fun transition. And I saw it as another great opportunity to continue to advance and move in my career. So that's what I did. And so I had originally applied for a position. I didn't get that role. And so I ended up taking another opportunity that they had available in doing group sales, which ironically was, again, in alignment with still providing a unique experience. Even though I was selling, you know, tickets, I wasn't just selling, even though we're full menu sales. My main job in my department, we were the experiences department. So again, hey, you're going to come to a game with a group of people and have a great experience, but you're also going to get an opportunity to be a part of the, you know, the Whataburger High Five fan tunnel. You're going to get an opportunity to do a Court of Dreams, where you can have your school and another opponent team come out and compete on the court before a Mavericks game even takes off. So again, it was giving me opportunities to create more unique experiences outside of whatever happened, whether the Mavericks won or lost the game. We still gave a group a positive experience. So, you know, in that role, I was still able to make a lot of great relationships. It was still a hustle. You know, it took me probably 400 quality calls, cold calls, getting on the phone, calling people to actually start getting some real good traction. So that's where patience and persistence and endurance, spiritual endurance, mental endurance, you know, being coachable. Because it was, again, I came from selling, you know, NFL type of assets and NFL experiences to now also, getting on the NBA side. But I will also say there were some blessings that came. I mean, this was the first year we drafted Luka Doncic. There was a lot of good stuff that was already kind of brewing up and happening within the organization. St. Marshall took over, and she kind of came in and resurfaced and changed everything that we thought a traditional workplace was supposed to look like. She just kind of came in and just did a complete 360. And honestly, I always predicating and tip my hat to Sent, because she gave me a confidence and a belief in myself that I didn't know actually existed. I was able to believe that, man, as a young Black man in this professional industry, I can actually not only earn experience, but I can continue to build a career here and also continue to put my best skills to the test. And that's ultimately what led to me taking the role in Mavs Gaming. My esports experience was very minimal when I first dove in. I mean, I played 2K in my personal time as a hobby. So Mark and the league kind of getting into the NBA 2K league, I was like, and building this thing out, I was like, listen, I may not know what you all need, but I got an idea of what the community may need. So that's kind of where my whole mind shifted. And I was like, okay, listen, I can do the ticket sales route. Because my dream was to be in corporate. My dream, even when I was with the Cowboys, my dream was to always get on the corporate side, because I knew that was where the real business was. I felt like that was where, the real companies that make a lot of decisions in our world, they live at the corporate level. So that's where I wanted to live. So it was always a goal of mine to still be in that atmosphere. But, again, through endurance and through trusting in God and continuing to keep good and wise counsel around me throughout my entire career, I've been able to just continue to sit still. Even if my urge is to go after something or to move quickly, sometimes I say, well, wait a minute, I got to make sure that I'm consulting and doing things appropriately to make sure that I'm not burning bridges and maintaining, positive relationships. So,
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially that was where, with Mark getting into the NBA 2K league and this thing kind of starting to blossom out, I was in a very fortunate position. Mavs Gaming had the first inaugural pick of the draft and of that year of the history of the NBA 2K league. And we ended up taking Dimes, who was, really instrumental in those first couple of years of how we built our brand. Because I mean, you have to think about this dude was the best NBA 2K player, in the world at that time, and he still is arguably a top. He's still up there. So he's not too far away from that. But he's one of the OGs and one of the most well-respected names in our league. And so us being able to have him and me kind of getting an opportunity to learn him and be around him, and LT Fairley bringing on Coach LT as well. There were a lot of positive things that were being built. And I just wanted to be a part of that story in some capacity. And so in an inverted way, I kind of got my dream into getting into that corporate world, because that was the position that was available. I jumped in as the sales manager for Mavs Gaming, and my job was to get on those phones and find some of these corporate companies that may not fully know what the NBA 2K league is. They may not understand that kids and adults will actually sit down on their couch and tune in and watch a Twitch stream and watch their favorite streamers like entertainment. And it was a lot of education that came with the job too, which I'm a passionate guy and I love to help and I love to be of service. So I felt like, wow, okay, I think I can kind of put everything of me into this, but it still came with some learning challenges and some learning curves. And I've just been grateful to be around great leaders and great individuals who have given me the opportunities to not only learn by failures, but also learn through success as well. So regardless of kind of what's come with this role and with Mavs Gaming, with the NBA 2K League, and with just esports as a whole transitioning into more of a corporation, there are still a lot of learning curves. And so that was the blessing in kind of jumping into this corporate sponsorship side. It gave me the opportunity to learn a lot through failures, through success, but it also gave me an opportunity to be fearless and to just not back down from, it doesn't matter if you are a major company or an entity. What we have here is something that can bring positive value, because you're getting attention and eyeballs. So wherever eyeballs live is essentially where you should see value. And that was always kind of like my mindset and my approach to how I wanted to offer unique partnerships. So a lot of the things that we did on the Mavs Gaming side, which was custom, everything was tailored. So again, it was allowing us to say, okay, how can we try to specifically hit a company's goals and needs Did we always hit the mark? No, but we did our best, and we were able to put some positive stuff out there. And so,
and you hit on a few things. So I have a friend that's in collegiate esports, and he actually made a quote on this podcast that traditional sports is the same on the back end as esports, but on the front end, it's culturally different. So I want to kind of ask you, like, working in esports and around esports, how has that been? How has that, grew you as a not only as a corporate black man or just a man period,
yeah.
but going out into the community and actually doing this role that you have now as, corporate social responsibility for the Mavs Gaming. Like, how has that role been?
Yeah, man, this role, I would say, has been one of the most gratifying roles I've had in my professional career, because it's allowed me to take something that I've always genuinely cared about, and I'm able to actually implement these programs and processes that address a lot of different socioeconomic issues. So because you got to think about it, our world isn't just one unified world. It's a world with a lot of different moving parts. And so being in corporate social responsibility and community relations, you start to see that there are a lot of similarities in the traditional and non-traditional worlds, but the reality is there still needs to be a bridge to make sure that these things coexist. And so for me, being a man of God, I always say God is going to continue to be the foundation, but he puts people on this earth to be able to use their gifts of connecting individuals. Some people have a gift of going out and creating charts that actually explain things in a more analytical and statistical manner. There are more than one way to skin a cat. And so when you start looking at traditional and non-traditional, my role allows me to be able to work with both to create one unified world. And that's literally just using gaming as the bridge to address a lot more of these socioeconomic challenges that we have in the world. But it's all for positivity. It's all for gaming. It's all for community. It's all for understanding. And I think that that's the most gratifying thing about my job, is I literally get to create understanding through putting people in certain spaces and educating them on processes and things that maybe they did or didn't know. So, and now we get to, as we're continuing to build this out, it's starting to expand where we're going to continue to bring in partners who believe in this. Like, for example, during Mental Health Awareness Month in May, we partnered with Fort Oak Cliff, and we had UT Southwestern's I think she was a neurophysicist, Dr. Niaz Didabani. She was able to literally sit down with a group of kids, and we were able to talk to them about mental health and why it's important to address mental health in competitive gaming and esports, because 10 times out of 10, when you lose and you're truly invested in it, you still feel those exact same angers and rages and emotions that a basketball player, a football player, or a tennis player, a volleyball player, whomever. If anybody loses or they feel that the emotion of a loss, they're still going to have they're going to express that same emotion, no matter if it's on the sticks or if a ball is in your hand or on the foot. So that is where that program was used to address, like, hey, it's important to make sure that we're paying attention to the emotions of competitive gamers, because they too also express emotions. They too also are invested into the thing that they care about. And we were able to use partners to collaborate. We were able to find and target specific groups of kids who we felt this program could have been a benefit to. So ultimately, that's the most pleasurable thing about my job, is I'm creating programs that really go out here and try to address social and civil issues.
Yeah. And you know what? You made a valid point. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is community. But due to the fact that, we're on this platform, I wanted to actually showcase some activations that you've already done. So we're going to get into a few videos.
It's Veterans Day. We're just showing appreciation to our veterans, all those that have served the United States military, just letting them know how much we care about them and we support them.
So last night we did about 8 of our Warriors got online and took lessons essentially of NBA 2K22, followed up by tonight's event here in person at Mavs Gaming. And so we got to bring out about 50 people total. I think, take them for a tour, get to experience gaming, find out what it takes to be a pro gamer, and just have some fun and get people connected together through games.
So it's just a wonderful, honored situation for us to be a part of, and we really appreciate all of that they've given us today in honoring the veterans. And we just love any type of recognition that we get, even if it is for one day. We really, really appreciate it because it's always an honor and a privilege to serve.
This month is mentorship month, and so we want to make sure that we're hitting on what mentorship means and the importance of it. That is the most important thing that we can do for our youth, is mentor them and push them in the most positive direction. So without further ado, I'll open the floor.
It's more than just competing. It's more than just having a good time. So you are the generation that's going to take this thing to the next level. I can't wait to see what you do with it. The foundation has been set. And it's just a fun industry to be in. Trust me, you can ask anybody from our organization. We love what we do. We love what we do daily.
About your guys' age, probably younger. My dad introduced me to Nintendo and Sega, and he was kind of one of my first mentors that put me on to video games and really got me involved in it.
So you're not saying double. I actually worked for the Mavs for a short time. But Trey, man, let's get into it, man, because even in your post, you put an emphasis on unity, and that's how I created this banner. Talk about it, man. What's community to you, and how have you used it in your role now to advance the organization?
Absolutely. The short answer for that is God. Because I feel God is unity, and I feel that he put us all here on this earth to continue to be vessels to one another, to love thy neighbor, to continue to love each other unselfishly, and to continue to seek the best for others. So I'm not doing anything outside of standard principles and practices that I truly believe in, and I want to continue to implement. I just so happen to do it for Mavs Gaming, which is an NBA 2K League franchise that's also an affiliate arm of the Dallas Mavericks. My goal and my whole purpose in this is to continue to let the work create positive change. Nothing more, nothing less. I want to continue to take whatever opportunities that are in front of me, whatever relationships that are built, and I want to continue to groom and garnish and grow those relationships with a godly foundation. But two, it takes resources, it takes support, it takes getting people to truly believe in the process and believe in the future, which are our children. A lot of us are still in this new world where we have to continue to appease to a lot of different opinions and objections. Well, for me, the only objection is from my father. And so he tells me how to continue to do these projects and what's on my heart to be able to say, hey, whether it's back to school, what can we do for the kids? Whether it's during our seasons of giving, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the holidays, I'm grateful to also work for an organization who's already and has been doing and consistently putting out positive community programs for over 2 decades. So, I'm just kind of working with what's in front of me and just trying to make the most of these opportunities, but I'm using God and unity as the foundation.
Man, that's awesome, man. Lastly, what's next for Trey Thompson, man? Because you've been blessed to have a great resume. You've been blessed to do great things within this space, within community, within sports. What do you see next coming for you, so?
Well, I don't know. For me, the goal is to continue to let the work do the talking, and I want to continue to put this work on display and continue to spread it out, because I feel like that's the best way the blessings come, because nobody knows they need you until they need you. And for me right now, I'm humbled to be where I am, and I'm trying to continue to build, learn, and grow and establish myself still as a professional, because I know I'm still flawed in many ways. I know that I still have things that I have to continue to build and work and grow on, because the journey isn't just about what do I do next. It's about getting to the finish line. So this is a marathon, and the only way you get to the marathon is through, endurance. So, the next steps for me is to continue to keep impacting our community with solid programs and continue to keep putting this work on display, and then continue to build the network. I tell people all the time, I'm accessible. because the goal is to continue to work together and to create the next best projects, but that doesn't work with one person. And real leaders recognize that you have to inspire other leaders, and you also have to surround yourself with other leaders. So for me, that's where I humble myself and say, hey, I'm here to continue to learn, continue to keep growing, and build myself into the best professional and the best person that I can be.
Man, that's a great closer, man. If you hadn't looked at the podcast before, Trey, this is your time to kind of pretty much promote anything that you have going on, tell people how they can reach out to you as far as social media, email, whatever kind of information you want to put out there.
Absolutely. And so for me, I don't know what I don't know, but I want to know. So if you want to find me, you can find me directly on LinkedIn, Trey Thompson. I'll check a lot of my inboxing. I'm not on there as consistently as I would like to be, but you can always find me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a DM if you see me. If you have any ideas, if you have a nonprofit, if you have a group of kids who you think they could benefit from learning about the NBA 2K League and learning about esports and learning about this billion-dollar industry that we can continue to promote and push and inspire our kids to be a part of, so that way they can have stake and equity in themselves as future entrepreneurs. My goal is to continue to impact and inspire the next generations of leaders, but it takes finding those leaders. So find me at LinkedIn, Trey Thompson. I don't normally do my personal number, but if it is a serious matter, I can definitely share that information. But yes, man, I'm here and I'm accessible, and I'm just honored to continue to do my part and being one vessel of many, serving a purpose for all.
That's awesome, man. Like always, I love you, brother. And man, what a great show to start season 3. I appreciate you, man. Let me close out the show and I'm going to get right back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Trey Thompson, Corporate Social Responsibility Manager for the Dallas Mavs. Great brother, great contact to have, great relationships. It's all about building community and having relationships. You can't get it done by yourself. It takes a village. It takes brotherhood and sisterhood. Trust me. This is your host, Christopher Turner. Great time to be alive, man. This esports industry has to stick together. I love y'all, and don't forget to go play esports. Peace.